Happy Wednesday, Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like this thing, you share it. If you have not already and you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, you want to say a thanks down that bottom right-hand corner, there's that option to give a super thanks as well. But, coming at you today is none other than old Cool Hand Frank Rock. I'm going to explain why Cool Hand just here in a few minutes. It's not the Outlaw, it's the Cool Hand today. Here's why. Chaz Lanier, he just wrapped up his visits. He visited BYU, he visited Kentucky, he visited Tennessee. A lot of freaking out over the last week about Chaz Lanier in Kentucky. Kentucky fans have been confident. They feel like they can just get who they want to. They've talked about, our history and our national championships, even though we've not seen one in a while. We've seen multiple first-round exits from Kentucky. We have a new unproven coach. Or I say they have a new unproven coach at Kentucky who has not ever won an NCAA tournament game as a coach. But yet, we're trying to compare and say, this is a better fit for Chaz Lanier than Rick Barnes in Tennessee, even though Rick Barnes is a Hall of Fame coach, one of the all-time winningest coaches there is. Well, here's the latest news. Travis Branham, 24/7 Sports. I saw Ben McKee also put it out on 24/7 Sports today as well. Chaz Lanier has wrapped up his visits. Why is BYU in this thing? Because they're paying a lot of money. They're offering a lot of NIL. I had someone on here over the weekend trying to tell me BYU offers the same to everybody. No, they don't. I told the person, absolutely, that's 100% false, and I never got a response on that. There would be no median. I looked it up just to make sure I wasn't crazy on that. That maybe I was talking without knowing. I looked it up. That's not true because there was a median kind of NIL with BYU players. It's well known. I had another BYU fan. I don't know if the first person who commented was BYU fan. The second one who come later on is a BYU fan and talked about how they're increasing going into the Big 12. They're increasing their money. They're trying to be competitive. It was very informational. Very good stuff. I appreciated that the person who listened for coming on and giving the BYU perspective of things. It was very informational. And nowhere in that did that person say that everyone gets paid the same. If that's the case, Chaz Lanier knows up front what he's going to get paid. There would be no reason to meet if it were not for NIL. Kentucky, Mark Pope's first year, they want to put him a good product out there. I don't know how much they're willing to pay. I saw some stuff from Kentucky fans today saying, well, Kentucky's out due to NIL. I don't know if that's true, if Kentucky's being sore about it. This entire time when I've talked about the Chaz Lanier recruitment, I've said I thought Tennessee was in a good place. I've never wavered on it. I have never wavered on Tennessee's standing with Chaz Lanier. I've been pretty upfront. Has there been concern along the way? A little bit, but I've said the entire time the constant in this one, it started out Tennessee, Maryland. Then it became Tennessee, Kentucky. Then it became Tennessee, Kentucky, BYU. What's the constant? What's the consistent? It's been Tennessee the entire time, who offers the most stable, best basketball situation of all of them. It's not even close. Chaz Lanier mentioned before going to the G League Combine, I can't remember the name of the podcast, the blog, whatever it was he talked to prior to going to that, but he said he wants to show them his defense. He's the number one offensive efficient player in all of college basketball last year. Why does he need to go improve his offense? He doesn't. He wants to show them his defense. Who better to go improve your defense under than the Deacon, Rick Barnes? It's not even a comparison between Rick Barnes and Mark Pope. Kentucky fans can quit coming on here saying, better fit, better system. No, it's not. It's not even close. It's not even a comparison here between Rick Barnes and Mark Pope. It's not even a comparison. Why is Kentucky on my mind? Because you're the competition in this. Otherwise, I could care less. Kind of like you got run ruled today, 11-0 by LSU in baseball. It is what it is. Rick Barnes, though. Rick Barnes and the evolution of Rick Barnes. What I've seen the last couple years, when NIL first became a thing, the transfer portal first became a thing, people were like, well, Barnes can't adjust to it. He won't last. It's well, look what he's done. It was said last year when Dalton Connect came to town, Rick Barnes took over that recruitment. What happened? Dalton Connect was a Vol. Dalton Connect's getting ready to be a lottery pick next month in the NBA draft. Chaz Lanier just came to Knoxville. Kentucky, from what I've read, tried to persuade him not to make the visit. Chaz Lanier stayed Monday night. He visited Tuesday and left. According to Travis Brown, according to what Ben McKee says he's hearing, Tennessee knocked it out of the ballpark. Rick Barnes took over that recruitment the same as he did Dalton Connect last year. What do I think's going to happen? It's the same thing I thought was going to happen the entire time, that when it's all said and done, Chaz Lanier from Nashville, Tennessee, who has a connection on Tennessee staff, who has connections with multiple former players who played at the University of Tennessee, will be a Tennessee Volunteer. I'm sticking to it. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not guaranteeing it or nothing. I'm sticking with what I've said this entire time. I expect Chaz Lanier to be a Tennessee Volunteer. I expect this to be a powerhouse basketball team capable of winning a national championship last year, capable of being better than last year's team. I love what they've added so far. I hate that they lost Dalton Connect. Other than that, I think what they picked up and brought in is an upgrade over what they had. I think Rick Barnes is seeing things. There's a change in philosophy. There's a change in philosophy. Rick Barnes has changed his philosophy. You're starting to see more guys who could step out and shoot opposed to what he was recruiting earlier. I think he was recruiting athletes more earlier to build his program. Now he's starting to get into more seasoned, I would say, basketball players, guys who can shoot, guys who can drive, guys who can do multiple things. If they already have the offense, Rick Barnes can get them the defense on it. We'll see where it goes. When's the decision coming? I have to think it's soon. I don't know if it could be as soon as today or when it is. I don't know the time frame on that, but I feel it will be soon, and I'm still going to stick with it, that Chaz Lanier will be a Tennessee Volunteer. Sticking with what I've said this entire time. I've been consistent. I've not been that concerned about it. You knew in this commitment or in this recruitment, it was going to get heated. When you're that good of a player in the transfer portal, teams are going to come after you. The one consistent, I have a buddy of mine, I think he's pretty accurate on this. A part of me wonders if Tennessee didn't help get him to the portal. Maybe some things with agents and stuff have kind of changed the game a little bit. When it's all said and done, when Chaz Lanier makes that announcement, when he signs on the dotted line, as they used to say in pro wrestling, Chaz Lanier, I feel, will be a Tennessee Volunteer. Are Tennessee Vol fans going to be happy or sad? That's my last bullet point. I've answered that already. They're going to be happy. I feel they're going to be happy. If you're a Kentucky fan, you can chime in all you want to. You can tell me all about your history, all you want to, that I already know about. Tell me what the present looks like. That's where we're at. We're in the present. Nobody's doubting Kentucky's history versus Tennessee's in basketball. Nobody's comparing it. Nobody's doubting it. But players live in the present. They're looking at where they can get better in the present. Chaz Lanier's goal, if he's going to the G League Combine to try to impress someone, he wants to go to the NBA. Rick Barnes has a pretty easy case with Dalton Connect from last year. You come here, I'll help get you there. It's pretty easy, guys. It's pretty easy. We'll see how it goes from here. I've said the entire time, if it's basketball related, it's a no-brainer on this. I'm going to wrap up on that one. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel, the most consistent one that's been on this Chaz Lanier thing the entire time. Not freaking out, not bugging out, none of that stuff. Been on it. Cool hand. Frank Rock has been on it. I hope you guys will tune in with me later tonight. Tennessee Vanderbilt getting ready to start in baseball. Nate Snead on the mound. I'm fired up about that one. I want to see that. I want to see him starting. I want to see how that one goes. But here in a few hours, probably around 8 o'clock, somewhere in that range, 8 to 8:30. I hope to see you guys in here tonight. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe. You like the content. Make sure you share this thing out as well. Let's build this thing up. Let's build it up tonight. Have a good post game for Tennessee baseball, and we'll rock and roll from there. Have a great rest of your evening. And last, but most certainly not least, go Vols.